Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shampoo and Booze. This is episode number 46 at shampooandbooze.com.
One thing that we're now starting to learn in our renting experience is what to do when it's the quote-unquote off-season.
Right.
So this is our second year of going through this, and we're just now kind of learning the rhythm of when people want to come to our area.
Right. So our off-season is winter.
Right.
Some people's off-season is summer if they're in a ski area. But that's not the case for us.
But we're more in like a hiking, a river outdoors time. So really it's like December, January, February. Those are the 3 months that people consider off-season.
Right.
And so we're just now getting into December.
Yeah.
Renters are leaving today.
Because this is like Thanksgiving weekend.
Right. So it's kind of like the end of November. And we don't have anyone booked till Christmas. So for a month.
It was really funny when you said that because I think I just didn't look at the calendar correctly. And you're like, okay, the renters are leaving. It's going to get cleaned. And then no one's here for a month. I was like, what?
Well, I think, again, we've talked about it before. There's different kinds of people that have short-term as rentals. There are people it's like us where it's a vacation area where there's off-season, and all that. And then there are people that are in an urban area where basically they're booked all the time.
Doesn't matter the weather,
It's just like they can't keep it unbooked.
Right.
And so for us, though, once March comes when the season starts, we've been booked 20-ish days a month, which has been great. Right. And so it is a surprise when suddenly the bookings dry up.
Yeah.
Oftentimes with podcasts, it's like this. People like us are supposed to have the answers. Like, oh, let me tell you how to get more bookings.
Yeah.
Actually, this is more of like just talking about a situation and then kind of speaking out loud of how we think we might be able to solve it. And then if anyone out there is in our kind of position, maybe you guys can give us some suggestions. So here's what we've done so far. Number one is, the obvious thing is we've brought our price down.
Right.
I did that today.
Off-season price.
Right.
Right.
And that's not unnormal. However, I only brought it down by $10 or $20 a night. I don't feel like I want to give it away. Right. I would rather be unbooked and then spend that time doing extra cleaning or maintenance work than to really lower our price.
Yeah, I hear you.
And the other thing is you've been posting it on Craigslist, right?
Yeah, so I there's a couple of things that I did. I posted on Craigslist in different areas up and down the East Coast. And the problem is with the big urban areas on Craigslist, you have to repost every 7 days. Like in the more suburban or rural areas, it's good for like 45 days. And then like in a city, it's like 7 days, so I often tend to forget. But what I did also was last year, a friend of ours stayed in the farmhouse and he took some video of the farmhouse when it was snowing and actually took some screenshots of the house in the snow. And I kind of replaced our, gallery image on our sites with that just because you're hoping that someone's going to book. It hasn't snowed yet. Like it doesn't look snowy right now, but I thought that might help get the kind of feeling for like Christmas, cozy. Yeah. So I don't know if that helped or if that's helping.
And actually,
I'm not sure.
It's our friend Anna who is in Airbnb, or she's not Airbnb, she's VRBO. Is a renter out in Colorado. She's the one that says to put your stuff on Craigslist because she says she gets a lot of bookings that way.
We've only heard of one person who said they saw it on Craigslist, but that's not to say that people haven't seen it and then come through our website. So
right, and let's be clear. So our friend actually puts it on Craigslist and then she wants to directly book through herself
because there's no fees.
She wants a booking herself. We actually like having a middle, Airbnb as a middleman between us. Yeah. So we just put our listing up with the Airbnb link.
It's actually, I will say this for anyone who's doing Craigslist, you cannot put an Airbnb link. So we have our own URL. Right. So that kind of like.
And then they go to there and then immediately the only thing that you can do is click through to Airbnb through our site. Right?
I just changed our website, as you know. Right. So it has the link to, right now we changed our website so it's a splash page with links to Airbnb and VRBO. Gotcha. So it used to just directly redirect, just to
Right.
be technical, but now it has both those links.
So we haven't had, great luck other than one guy that said he saw it on Craigslist and then booked through Airbnb.
Right.
So, but we do get very often people email us from Craigslist and say, is it available tonight?
Right.
Or I had a teenager the other day.
He called you
me.
on the phone.
Yeah, he called us on the phone because our phone number's on our website, and he was trying to see if he could book it for his birthday. And,
It was so funny when you got off the phone with him. I was stunned. I was like, he did what? First of all, you could tell he was a teenager, obviously, by his voice. And second, he was like, I want to have my birthday party there. And you were like, no. Good luck with that.
I don't blame him. Hey.
He tried.
I was the kind of guy, I was the kind of kid in my school who I was the one that helped to organize things.
Yeah.
Like that. Like being able to try and rent cars to go to spring break and rent hotels. So
you were the mature one.
I was, whatever. I liked having that power. But that didn't work for us. So anyway, so Craigslist is hit or miss, but, I don't know.
It's free. You might as well try it.
In our area, a lot of the vacation owners, they actually closed down for January and February.
Right.
I don't know exactly how common it is, but we know a couple of the long timers.
Yeah.
They just feel like it's not worth them keeping the heat and water on.
Yeah.
They just winterize the place and just check out.
And they have their own little break.
So we're hoping that us being available means that maybe there's fewer places to choose from.
Exactly.
So maybe that'll bring us more. I mean, last year, our lowest month, we made $1,200.
Right.
Which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that pays the mortgages. But
right.
We're really hoping to, hopefully at a minimum, $2,000 would
be great.
The good thing is in December, the nights we do have booked is Christmas and New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And something we've done, and that's really, it's Ryan's done, was make those nights more expensive.
Yeah, because those are nights where people are looking to book. I mean, they're almost guaranteed to book for Christmas and New Year's. And for Christmas, what I did was I did a 4-night minimum. I mean, that's pretty big. But you're like, if you're coming for Christmas, come for Christmas. Like, don't just come for 2 nights.
And it's $275 a night.
I think it was $299 a night.
That's right. It was
$299.
It was $300
because
a
we're
night.
gonna make $1,200.
Right. And so actually, our December's kind of saved because of the 2 holidays. We were charging more, so that kind of makes up for not having any other.
Yeah.
It's bookings. Although we hope we get some.
I would like to get some last minute weekend bookings, which look, Airbnb for us is like famous for that. I mean, people will book the night before. Hey, we want to get away. It's funny because we'll even hear, hey, we want to get away before the holidays, which is hilarious to me because holidays can be crazy for some people. So it's great that they're taking like a vacation before the vacation.
Yeah, but it is tough. Like when you have this asset that it's supposed to be a rented place, it feels really weird to see so much time unbooked.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's what we're hoping, that there will be last minute. So don't bring our prices down so low that we feel desperate.
Right.
Trust the process and know that people will book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if anyone else is in our position, we would love to hear if there are things that you guys do. The good news is on Christmas, the people who are staying for those 4 nights is the same family that came a year ago.
Yeah, they booked, I think it was 3 nights last year.
Right.
And we met them, right? Yeah, we met them, and they were really sweet, and they're like, every year, part of our family lives here, part of our family lives here, and so we meet kind of in the middle.
And there's no better compliment to have someone come and book a second time, and for for
Christmas.
Yeah, it's like special. A special vacation. So
it is really nice. It is really nice to have them, because we saw the booking, we were like, that's the same person.
Yeah,
so cute.
Okay, so just a couple things before we get into our numbers. I saw this article on the New York Times about people are rethinking buying oceanfront property.
Yeah.
And I will link to this on the blog if you haven't seen it already. Basically,
why is that?
Global warming, and mainly it's Florida,
Yeah.
So oceanfront, the Gulf Coast, Florida.
Yeah.
up to, a North Carolina and Virginia. I mean, so people are like, there's already more flooding. There's going to be more flooding, and that maybe these oceanfront properties aren't a great buy.
Sell now. Yeah, it's funny because when I'm on Bigger Pockets, shout out to Bigger Pockets, when I'm hearing about other people buying either rentals, like long-term rentals, or short-term rentals on the ocean. It's really funny because some people will be like, I got this great deal on this condo, and I'm just like, dude, in 10 years, that is like...
Well, there might be some people hearing us that don't believe in climate change, and that's fine. But if we just talk about just logic and cash and money...
And risk.
One reason why people are getting away from buying these oceanfront properties is because their insurance is going up.
Right.
So flood insurance keeps going up every year. I mean, people are paying $7,000 for a condo in Florida, and the government's now getting out of subsidized flood insurance, which I think is a good idea. I mean, if you want to be on the ocean, that's great. Then you pay the insurance.
Yeah.
And the insurance companies are the ones who are gathering risks, so they believe it. So I guess this is really where people can put their money where their mouth is. Like, if you don't think that global warming is happening or climate change happening,
go buy a condo on the Gulf.
It sounds like there's going to be a lot of good deals on the ocean.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Yeah. That's an interesting article.
The other thing that happened to us is yesterday. Another thing we've tried to do with trying to get more people to book is I'll look at other sites.
Right.
To see if, we're on Airbnb, we're on VRBO, we tried a couple others, we stopped doing that. So we tried Booking.com. Yeah,
so Booking.com had sent me a bunch of emails and stuff, and finally we were just like, you know what, let's just try it. It can't be any hard. Like, we were on TripAdvisor. We went off TripAdvisor for a long time, and then I said, you know what, basically it's free unless until you get a booking. Let's just try it, and that was easy enough, and we actually got a booking.
One single
booking through them, and it was fine, and they pay you through direct deposit. It's no big deal. But the issue with Booking.com is I set up my whole thing. They have to approve you. It took almost 2 months for them to approve us.
Because they have to talk to you on the phone.
Yeah, they talk to you, whatever. So, but then I realized I couldn't figure out how we got paid. And then they told me, yeah, we don't have online payments. You just have to have a credit card processor, or you take cash or something. You have to deal with that.
Right. It's more of, it seems like Booking.com is more of a hotel
site. It's for hotels.
So, if you have 30 hotel rooms and someone books.
Yeah.
And it's just like a hotel. You don't always pay up front. You show up and pay in person.
At the desk.
And that doesn't really work for us. So actually last night we got someone booking
next year.
Yeah, on Booking.com. They booked through that site, and it was someone booked a holiday the weekend, and and they don't pay because there's no way to pay. So I immediately wrote them and just kind of explained, glad you booked. If you want this to be a solid reservation, we need to do a payment.
Need to pay,
we will refund. I said, I'll give you a refund up to 2 months before you show up, but after that, it's refundable. And we were just going to do, it's like a PayPal link, and they could pay through its credit card, and they immediately canceled.
Within 5 minutes of you sending that, they immediately canceled. So here's the other crazy thing about Booking.com. I mean, maybe I'm not understanding this site. So I tried to take our booking offline, and you can't do it unless you call them on the phone. Granted, it was a Saturday, so I couldn't really do it, but it just was weird because on those other sites, you can take the booking offline at any time you need to.
Yeah, Booking.com is not very user-friendly.
It just doesn't. Well, what's weird is they have been advertising for vacation rentals. That's why I was like, well, maybe I'll try it. Maybe that's a new part of what they're trying to do. And it was just difficult because it's there's no way for me to pay. There's no flexibility on, taking my listing down if I need to.
Well, another reason why we tried it was there was a guy who contacted us. He's in Nashville, I think. And he says that
he uses Booking.com.
It sounded like he had a bunch of rentals, and he used Booking.com. But for me, we have one place to rent.
Right.
So that needs to be locked in. That's why we're very strict on cancellation policies. I can't have someone book and then cancel the day before.
Right.
just like people do at hotels. I mean, they have you can cancel a hotel like 48 hours before, but they also have a bunch of rooms and they can fill them up and it lasts a minute. So it's just a model doesn't work for us. And the other thing is they charge 15%.
They charge 15%.
Which is a lot of money.
That's a lot. I mean, compared to the other places, like when I started thinking about it, number one, I have to get the payment myself. And then they're going to invoice me, I guess, at the end of every month and I have to pay them. I was just like, you know what? I can't deal with this. This is too complicated. So I'm actually going to call tomorrow on Monday and be like, close my account, please. I mean,
if anyone here does use Booking.com for at your like Airbnb place,
I would love to hear.
I'd love to hear more.
What do you do for payments?
Maybe we're not understanding, but it just didn't feel very personable. Like the person that booked, there's no
message,
there's no identity, there's no like its profile. I don't know who's coming. It's just an email.
Yeah, and they didn't say anything. Yeah. It was weird. Yeah, I like the other sites because I feel like people are communicating with us. We know we're going to get our payment. We know how we're going to get our payment. We know what our fees are.
Okay, and then the other thing we wanted to mention is we've been watching the past couple of days kind of a marathon of this show on...
it's on Netflix,
right?
Yep,
called The Super...
It's from 2011. How did you find this show?
Just suggested? A buddy I know who bought a rental. He bought like a long-term rental. He's a Bigger Pockets guy.
Oh, okay.
And he said, you got to check out this show.
The show.
The Super.
The Super in Omaha, Nebraska.
It's like one of these, like, it was made for, like, HDNet. Like, it's one of those, like, low-class cable channels.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty well done for what it is.
I mean, it's a reality TV show, just like any other one.
But it's good if you're into renting because it shows this guy, and he, like, runs a management company. He has, like, 1,700 units. Some he owns, some he just manages.
Yeah.
And he tries to come off with this really... like cool, good guy, like who cares about people, but he's a slumlord.
And it's
so interesting just to watch him interact with people, how he treats people, how he treats his places.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, to me, I wanted to watch it because you have been talking about maybe getting into buying
long-term rentals,
cheap houses and fixing them up real quick and renting them out. But that me is what happens if you're going for the lower end of the market. Just people with, with like mental health issues, addiction.
Right.
They're just not good people. They treat your places like crap. They don't pay rent. If you have to always go through this eviction notice, it's just problem after problem. I just don't see what the upside is.
Right. Yeah. I think it's... Okay, so for me, this show is good to watch because it shows you the difference between a place that's the owner, whoever the owner is, the management company or whoever, has taken the time to fix up. You don't see that on this show, but you've seen it on other shows, like, and we're doing it ourselves. You take the time, you take the money, you make a house livable, beautiful, ready to go, up to our standards. And then there's the other side where it's just barely any maintenance. You don't do anything to the house for years, 40, 50 years. Nothing's done to it.
Just at best, you plaster over any holes, you throw a coat of paint on, and then you get the cheapest carpet just to kind of cover up any kind of problems. And then you just hope it doesn't fall apart.
Right. And so it's good for me to see a show like that where I'm like, oh, yes, that's why it makes me feel better about all the time and the lot of money we're spending on this other house, because I'm like, oh yeah, it reminds me why we're doing this, because that house that we bought, all three of the houses we bought were in the shape basically that we see on this show.
I don't think quite that bad.
Not that bad.
But,
our house was pretty bad, but not that bad, but could be very soon if you didn't go in and scrape.
I mean, places where people just really haven't touched the houses for 20 or 30 years. So there's a lot of things that you don't see that are, rotting,
mold problems.
Floors are kind of bending a little bit.
The roof is funky.
Where, it's like right on the edge where if you don't start doing something
it's going to go bad.
It's going to start becoming a house.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about a show is like that. And I don't know if anyone's ever seen this before, but if you haven't, it's on it's Netflix. There's two seasons of it, so you can really binge on it. Is that this guy, tries to come off as a super cool, nice guy. He always seems really surprised when he walks into one of his crappy places and that people have trashed it.
It's really funny.
Even if the people didn't live a messy in a messy house, the houses themselves are already
horrible.
The renters, who I admit look like they're nightmares.
Yeah.
They're showing them there's water leaking from the wall.
Yeah, and you're
there's roaches. There's
and you're like, wait a second, that's your problem, dude. Not the renters clearly, if they're dirty, then roaches are gonna come in and stuff like that. But still, you're like, there's a hole in the ceiling, so
But we know someone like this in our county who has been here for a while. He's an older guy, and he's bought a handful of these. He'll buy it's mobile homes or old houses,
and do long-term rentals,
and just do flips where he's renting pretty cheap, probably $400 a month, and it's probably this kind of a situation. And he's a bad reputation for being a really grumpy guy.
Yeah,
because
and this is why.
If you talk to him, he's always complaining about his renters who don't pay, who trash his place, and he seems like he's always living in a headache. And it's because if you put the money up front, you'll get a higher quality tenant.
Yeah.
So you're paying for future proofing your problems.
Now that's something that you always remind me of when we're doing these renovations, because sometimes I have a hard time with it where I'm like, just let's just paint it. Let's just paint over it. Because it is, honestly, it's the stress, it's the money, it's the time, it's the sleepless nights where you wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh my God, I haven't thought of everything. You're just like, but then, when you have our farmhouse, which is incredibly successful, it's making us money, it's a great asset, people love it. You're like, that's why. I have to remember that. I cannot take that for granted. I think that happens. When you have a nice house that you live in and your nice property that you rent, you're just like, what? Look, that took a lot of time and money, blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And that's why you did it. So, it's a good reminder.
It's just a different strategy.
Right, sure.
Okay, so let's talk about our numbers with our current rental. We call it the farmhouse.
Yes.
So, for November, we made almost $4,000. It was one of those months where at the beginning of the month, we didn't have that many bookings. We had 10 nights. And then we just had a lot of last minute bookings. We ended up with 23 nights or so.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So, and it was, again, we've, and that's all for the holiday of Thanksgiving, we made $1,000 because we just raised the price because it is a kind of a guaranteed booking,
Yeah. People do this thing where they say in their message, and this has happened before, they're like, we have a tradition of going away for Thanksgiving and doing our Thanksgiving dinner at a cool place. And that's exactly what these people did. And so...
And the weather around here has still been really good, so it's great for hiking during the daytime.
They're hiking right now. So.
It's cold at night, but during the day it's
pretty warm.
50s, 60s.
And sunny.
Perfect for hiking.
Yeah.
And then, it's like we said, we've booked Christmas, which was great. We
booked Christmas on Thanksgiving that day. It was great.
We booked, because we live near D.C., we booked the inauguration weekend.
Yeah.
So that's, January 19th or so.
Yeah. Actually, we had several people ask about it.
Well, we started getting all these questions about our place that week, and I couldn't understand why, because it's kind of a random
It's like
weekend.
The third weekend in January.
And it's because I guess everything's getting booked up in D.C. or getting so expensive. There are people now looking farther out. We're 90 miles away, so it's a hike, you know?
Well, what was funny is the first person that asked us said, can we take an Uber to your place?
Right.
I'm like, probably. It's going to cost you a pretty penny.
Yeah.
I actually estimated it. It wasn't that bad. It was like if you took an Uber Pool, which is the ride-sharing service, doubt they'd get a second rider, but it would be cheaper. It was only $100-something to get out here.
Yeah, so there were 2 or 3, 4 people. So.
But number one, it sucks for the driver because they're going to have to drive back on their own dime.
Yeah.
You know?
But anyway, so finally we just got someone just booked outright because they understood it was a good deal.
Yeah.
And so, and they said they're going into, it's DC, and we said that we would help them understand how to, like, you know, you can drive to the closest or
like metro station.
A metro station on the furthest outside of town and then take the train in instead of... Because I've actually been to, like, the last time was George Bush's second election, his inauguration.
2005.
Yeah,
2004.
so a buddy and I went down there, and it's
really,
it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's like
it's got to be just jam packed.
I don't know why, but, you know, I mean, obviously we didn't have tickets or anything, so you're basically just milling around with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
But so that's good. So our numbers. So we're getting towards, we have one more month in 2016. So out of the 365 days of 2016, we've now booked 225 days.
Nice.
So that's 25 days more than we thought we were going to book. So let's see, this month, let's see if we can't hit 230, 240. Let's see.
Let's see if people do that last minute thing. I think they will. Look, the same thing happened in November.
Yeah.
We were getting kind of like, oh, November sucks. And then we just got all these bookings. Like you said, we got as many bookings as we do in the summertime.
Yeah, well...
I mean, but December might be
We'll
different.
see, you know, because it's starting to get colder. Most of the leaves are off the trees, so there's not that draw.
Yeah.
You know, Christmas is coming, so...
People are busy for Christmas.
You know, people are trying to get stuff done before they take off, so we'll see. All right, so our second rental... That's not a rental yet, but it's going to be. We call it the River House.
Because it's near the river.
And we're deep in its renovation, and we showed a lot of pictures on last week's blog, so
yes,
you can see. We're almost done with stage 1 of the edge renovation. I've got it mapped out in 3 stages.
Yes.
So stage 1 is we gutted the house.
Yep.
We fixed all the issues that were behind the walls and in the floor. We built an addition.
Yeah.
And built a second floor upstairs, and we're almost done building an outside deck.
Yes.
So that's like stage 1.
Yeah.
It's basically construction.
It's pretty much done.
We're about to start stage 2.
Right.
And that's all the trades.
The trades.
Plumbing, electric, HVAC, insulation.
Yep.
And what I've done is I've been calling guys to come out.
You've been good.
And give us quotes. And I'm trying to get basically 2 quotes on everything.
Right, minimum 2 quotes. Some things we've gotten 3 quotes on.
Because, I mean, it's not just, it's money, it's also making sure we find someone who is a recommended someone that we trust. So it's not going for the cheapest, it's going for the one we feel understands what we're trying to do.
And part of the issue, too, is, like, some of the guys we've worked with before, like, just would not return our phone calls.
It's true.
I mean... Look, it's crazy. We live in a place where there is hunting season, and dudes do not pick up the phone. They do not call you back for over a month.
Every guy I talk to says, you're lucky I picked up because it's hunting season. And
it's not like, you know... Yeah. So we've been calling multiple people. And what we find, too, is, like, we also like to work with the people who are hungry for work. Like... There are a lot of people that will call and they just never call you back with a quote, or they just never get back to you, or you're just like, I guess you don't want the work, you know? So the guys who get back to you the next day, like they said they would, you want to hold on to those guys, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, to me, I'm not a hunter, but I get it. I mean, if that's something you enjoy doing, but it just seems very short-sighted not to... at least answer back or leave a message. And, you know, I mean, people aren't hunting 24 hours a day. Like, anyway. And then the third stage, after all that's done, the hope is by February, the trades are done.
Right.
And then the third stage is drywall, put in the wood floors, and just...
finish, trim work.
A finishing.
Oh, and we need to, like, build the kitchen. That'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, and by that, you mean, like, building...
the cabinets and
we're not gonna have cabinets, but not really.
Well, it's just, I mean countertops with shelves underneath.
Countertop shelves. Like instead of going out and just buying it pre-built, we're gonna custom make it because it's a bit of a weird space, and we like having the convenience.
And we don't like cabinets, like you said,
of building what we want. And also we're scavengers, so we really scavenge a lot of really nice wood, like old heartwood pine, and that really forget about it. When people see that stuff,
custom made.
I mean, we've been talking about maybe why not just go to IKEA and just get the stuff
kitchen,
already
IKEA
built.
kitchen.
I mean, I guess it's always still a possibility, but we still have enough time to do it the way we want to do it.
My thing is this, like, I was looking at the IKEA catalog, it came in the mail the other day, and I was like, let's just buy a kitchen at IKEA. Let's just buy a bathroom at IKEA, But then I'm like, but honestly, it costs just as much to go get it designed, have it delivered, have it installed by IKEA than it does for us to design it with our carpenter.
And him just hand build it and build it out of materials that it will last. And
exactly.
So I think the IKEA angle is about, in my mind, speed. It's because you can do it, order it here, and get it installed in like probably a day. Because,
right, when they come and install
versus the way we're going to do it is, it's going to take a month probably for him to
Jesus, I hope not.
I mean,
but okay.
Maybe not, but you got to give him time to. He's taking old pieces of wood and like sanding it
and like making
oiling
it custom,
and customizing the so it's just a different choice. I mean, I wish we had big crews like those TV shows have, where they do it in a night or a week or a month.
They rehab a house on Flip or Flop. They rehab a whole house in a month.
Right, everything. Brand new plumbing and electric, but they also again have huge crews come in, dedicated,
and just a ton of money,
and guys are working simultaneously, whereas we're doing it kind of we're working with the carpenter, then we'll bring in the plumber, mainly just because of the money. We have to stagger that stuff out.
Exactly.
All right, that is it for this week. Thanks for being here. If you have a place where, it's kind of that season where our rentals are starting to slack off, or if you have a season in general that happens, we'd love to hear if you guys do anything to try and get more bookings, or if you just kind of embrace it and just get to work doing a maintenance, or maybe you just take off and just take those months off. We'd love to hear it.
We've thought of that too. We've thought of being like, okay, what if we either shut it down or just let our friend do it and we just go away for 2 months? That's a possibility.
It could be a possibility in the future. But,
maybe some other people do that.
Yep.
Okay, you can check out our blog at shampooandbooze.com for the links we discuss and to join the conversation. You can also leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line, which we would love to hear from you. The phone number is 540-407-8486. We post an episode every Monday morning. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube so you always get the latest episode. You can listen to our other podcast where we talk about how we sell stuff that we scavenge to fund our renovations, and that's at scavengerlife.com. Bye!